Hey, hi guys. It's been a long time since I came in and spoke to all of you right here, and I think it's the most apt and special occasion because my most special film Shershaah is out there for all of you guys to see on Amazon Prime Video, and the love that's pouring in is very overwhelming, and I felt I have to come and chat with all of you on this medium and use my Instagram for better use and put it to better use. For me, Shershaah, from day one, for many years ago, I heard it 5 years ago, and has always been an oath to the Indian Army to show all of you or some of you who have possibly never seen the Kargil war or the particular war that we speak about in Shershaah, to realize the sacrifices that the Indian Army has made, the sacrifices that our soldiers make every day, and the freedom that all of us in big cities enjoy is all thanks to all the men and women who are serving us in all the forces, whether the Indian Army, whether it's the Air Force or the Navy, but particularly with Shershaah obviously speaks about Captain Vikram Batra's sacrifice in it, and I always felt that we owe it, to our brave soldiers to make a story about them and give all of you kind of a close point of view towards how and what are the challenges that they face. And today it's out, and we as a team are extremely happy with the response coming in, the love pouring in, whether it's on social media, whether it's on personal messaging, whether it's the amazing IMDb rating. We're the highest Hindi film to be rated and loved on IMDb, which is amazing. And keeping that love and respect in mind, first of all, thank you so much. I wanted to do this chat today, giving respect and oath and to the Indian Army, and chat with somebody who's been very closely associated with the Indian Army. Sir who also wrote a lovely review for Shershaah, and he's very graciously agreed to come and chat with me on Instagram, so that all of you can get to know more about the Indian Army. Without any further delay, I would like to invite Lieutenant General Hasnain to come and chat with me. I'm waiting for him to send me a request, and I think he'll be here any minute, and hopefully we'll have a lovely chat, and you'll get to know more about what the Indian Army had to do during Kargil war, or what they do even today, and from a youth point of view. So excuse me if I'm looking at all the messages, which are great. Love you all. All love you messages are coming, which is amazing. And I am waiting for Sir to give me a request. Okay, people are liking. A lot of requests are coming from all of you to chat, but not today. We'll chat with Sir first. I think oops, sorry. Well, all hearts and kisses and loves, ye dil mange more, mera bhi dil mange more. Yes, I'm trying to read through all the messages that is coming through, all the love that's coming through. Mostly hellos and highs and love you, so a lot of love going back. And again, ye dil mange more, yes, ye dil mange more, and many more. And my heart is filled with all the love that's coming in for Shershaah, guys. Thank you so much. You guys have made this a special film. Hopefully that'll be remembered for the intentions that we've made it for, and the love that we are getting back shows us that many years later as well, people will realize Captain Vikram Batra and the Indian Army's sacrifice. And 1 second, we are just waiting for Sir's request to come in so I can log him. Until then, I'm reading all your messages, guys. Rata Lambia, the music, yes, the music. A big shout out to Azim for curating this amazing album for Shershaah. He's done a fabulous job. and all the music love that's coming our way from different composers and different singers is really amazing. So thank you guys. And Karan is here. Thank you, Karan. Thank you for making Shershaah, Karan. Thank you. It's been special and amazing. Nobody else could have pulled off all the other action in Kargil that we did, barring Dharma Productions, and kudos to the whole team to do that. And people say everywhere praising the movie. Can't wait to see it. Ranveer is here. Oh, what's up, bro? Music is leaving on. Whenever I see Ranveer now, I think of him in his car with music. Where is Kiara? Kiara is busy working. This is a chat that I wanted to have with Sir. We will now, hopefully very soon, get Sir to come on board and just give you an insight as to what we tried to show in the film. And you know what, obviously Sir will give you more first-hand information as to what it is for the Indian Army to serve in all difficult conditions, be it Kashmir, Kargil, and other borders. And I think he's 1 second. Balu is here saying come to Hyderabad. So all my friends and all of you guys are sending some lovely messages. And I Dil Mange More, guys. Ye Dil Mange More. Trust me, I've never looked at my social media so many times with all the lovely messages coming our way for Shershaah. Whether you guys are talking about a specific scene or whether it's about a particular dialogue, it's so special. I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is true gold for me. This is like the most valuable feeling that I've received or I've gained recently, and I feel I will cherish this for the rest of my life and work extremely hard to get more of such movies out and get all this love. That's the motivating factor. So thank you guys. Dil Mange More from me also, and I will hopefully not disappoint in the future. And Ranveer, love you, bro. I love you so much. Thank you. And we have so many of our friends. जी speak in हिंदी. बिल्कुल, मेरे को तो हिंदी इंग्लिश में कोई परेशानी नहीं है. मैं बस सर की वेट कर रहा हूँ कि सर आए, और I don't want to miss सर का invitation. Manav is also here giving all the love. So all the people that I know socially, I think this is something that I haven't done in recent time, and it's so lovely to see everyone logging on and seeing this love. And I would just बस कुछ ही देर में हम सर को लाएंगे लाइव, और आपसे फर्स्ट हैंड आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या होता है एक सोल्जर की ज़िंदगी में, कि कितनी कठिनाइयों का उसको सामना करना पड़ता है सर्व करने के लिए. एंड मैं वही चाहता था, इससे बेहतर या बेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है कि टू हैव अ लवली नाइस जेन्युइन चैट अबाउट द आर्म फोर्सेस एंड हमारी इंडियन आर्मी जो कि मेहनत करते हैं. बिकॉज इस पिक्चर के थ्रू मुझे मौका मिला है फर्स्ट हैंड देखने के लिए कि हमारी इंडियन आर्मी कोई भी टरेन हो, हमारे माउंटेन्स, डेजर्ट, जंगल, दे आर मतलब सो डिसिप्लिन एंड वेल ट्रेन्ड एंड डूइंग देयर जॉब विद फुल पैशन, where they're putting their life in danger every day, and that's all for us India, the largest second. I'm supposed to add one second. I'm supposed to look at, so excuse me guys till I scroll through, and I have to invite him. One second. Invite to join. Okay, let me invite Sir. Okay, here it is. I'm sending a request, Sir. And hopefully he gets my requests and we can get up and chatting. This always happens on Instagram though. I think I've always seen people do this and I used to wonder why. Yeah, there it is. Hello. Hello, sir. How are you, sir? Can you hear me,
Very
sir?
well, Siddharth, and my compliments to you on a stupendous job done in this film.
Uh,
I must
Thank you so
say, it's
much,
one
sir.
of those rare films which has really captured the ethos of the Indian Army so well, and you have been at the hem of it.
So sweet, sir. Thank you so much. I read your review, which was so well detailed and written with such passion because, of course, you have seen, Kashmir and that whole belt and what the Indian Army has done, to keep us safe and protected. And as I was saying before to all the viewers, that, sir, I think this was our attempt as a team, to really inspire the youth to appreciate what the Indian Army does constantly and every day and night to give us this sense of freedom and protection, and be hopefully for you to give some insights to what actually did happen and what we have portrayed and some cinematic liberties that we've taken. So I would like to ask you, sir. I'm
Let
sure you've
me
seen the film, sir.
let me take
What are
up
your
let me
thoughts?
take up the challenge. Let me take up the challenge of explaining a few things. Firstly, Siddharth,
Yes, sir.
uh, there's a lot of unnecessary criticism to say that the film shouldn't have included the romantic interludes and things like that. I
Ji.
personally felt the romantic interludes really added value to this whole film because at the end of it, you have
Okay.
to remember that the soldier is a human being, the officer is a
Ji.
human being. What you were depicting was not a machine, you were depicting a human. And I think
Absolutely, sir.
that came across very well with the interludes of your holidays back home with
Ji.
Kiara, who has also done a brilliant job. Absolutely. The second thing I thought I must highlight to our viewers here is the fact that the family and the woman behind the man. Because when we speak about events such as this, we'll start going into the romanticism of violence. But I thought before we
Ji.
do anything else, let's talk about the family. I think this is something which you all depicted very well in this, because some Rona
Thank you,
Dhona
sir.
here and there, but here the was giving to Vikram Batra, to Captain Vikram Batra, and the way you were depicting it yourself, I thought was very, very interesting, very sentimental, and actually formed one of the core issues of the whole film. The entire message which was going out from this wonderful film. And the last thing before I hand over to you to speak
Ji, sir.
is that I want to remind our viewers that a lot of people feel that the officer sits far behind and fights. That is never so. You have seen Siddharth
Ji.
right up there. You've seen him as Vikram Batra right up there. Batra, that attack would never have succeeded. It is because he was there, he was the inspiration. And I want to tell you that in the Kargil war, 27 officers were killed. 27 officers of the Indian Army were killed. 527 Jawans were killed. And the ratio was about 1:22. Now, that's one of the rare ratios in the world. Very,
Ji.
very rare ratio. You will won't find such a high ratio of officer
But that's
casualties
what makes
anywhere in the
our
world.
Indian Army
So I
special,
want
sir.
to ask you, Siddharth, how did you feel? How did you feel, Siddharth, depicting a man who was on the way to becoming an inspiration for a whole nation?
Sir, for me, it was an absolute honor from day one when I heard the script and story. I was well aware of Captain Vikram Batra's sacrifice, but possibly not in so many details, in such detail of what happened, on the battlefield of Kargil. And it's taken many shapes and sizes, different scripts, different versions to really accommodate it in 2 hours. It's very difficult to put anyone's life story onto it. And as you said, our attempt to put the love story was also to give a more human side to all our soldiers, that they have a life. That's the sacrifice as well. They have to sacrifice. The time being spent is limited. If they call for duty, they have to leave. They cannot get emotional. They cannot give details about their everyday, missions because it's a security breach. They possibly don't get to see them for months and months and staying away. Kids are growing up. Because I had the good fortune of having a few dinners while we were shooting Kargil with our active Indian Army officers and top ranking officers there, sir. And that's what they said. We sometimes don't get there's such an important integral part of a child is in his early, till he's about 10 years old, and most of the officers who are actively functioning miss that decade of really bonding with their kids, and that's a massive sacrifice. And in Captain Vikram Batra's case, it was from a love story and a family point of view. But the attempt was always to give give the youth a story which they can be inspired. He was only 24, sir. All the young officers or even the Jawans at such a young age. I want to ask all the people who are here and following and chat with us that do they feel passionately about any aspect or any one particular thing at 24, at 23? It can be anything. It does not necessarily mean that everybody, is possible, capable to go and fight a battle. But to find that one thing that will drive you, that one sense of extreme passion that, you even would put your life for it. I think that's something that what Captain Vikram Batra stood for, and all the 527 Jawans that we lost, officers that we lost. And we felt as a team that we have to put that story out. But sir, again, asking you, so you've closely, obviously seen the conditions there and what possibly all the officers go through and the challenges that the Indian Army faces. So what is your take on what would you want to tell the youth of, the country or people around that is watching?
See, Sidharth, there is a tremendous amount of interest today in military culture, in the whole profession of the military. People are, some years ago, people were never interested about all this, what was happening at the borders and things like that. Today, social media, other means of media have all brought this up, projected it in a different way. So I would say the reality of it. For example, I think one of the scenes which you all enacted, the last 200 yards of the attack, right? And it comes out very poignantly in the film, where General Joshi, and the then Colonel Joshi, tells you that when you have reached the last 200 yards, you must stop. You must tell them so that you stop firing the artillery. Now, the last 200 yards of an attack is the most difficult operation of war, I can tell you. Because murderous fire is coming on you. You are trying to escape that fire by taking cover in nooks and crevices and crannies all over the place. And yet, as an officer, you are the only one who has to put his head out and view the whole scenario and see what should your plan be. Can you imagine doing a planning? Corporate plans are made in wonderful offices and things like that. Can you imagine the last bit of a plan to actually destroy a bunker is made when there are bullets which are whizzing past your ears and you are putting up your head, taking a risk, taking a chance.
Yes.
This kind of a situation can continue for 3 to 4 to 5 days. You may be in the same spot for the next 3 or 4 days while you're maneuvering. And you can imagine water, food, sleep, rest, ablutions, all kinds of things which have to be done in that little bit of space that you're occupying. Unimaginable.
Absolutely.
People cannot imagine it. Lots of soldiers of the army cannot imagine it until they actually face it. So I always tell people, last 200 yards of an attack, most challenging event of anyone's life if you have ever gone through it.
And especially I feel in Kargil, sir, especially in Kargil where the enemy was at the more dominating position, when we also, we had obviously heard stories when we went on location, which was pretty odd kilometers, very close to where the actual, battlefield was. We realized
16 to 17,000 feet
yes, sir,
is a place where your oxygen levels are hugely depleted and you are gasping for breath. And you have to climb there and retain the energy level to be able to fight hand to hand. You have yourself depicted in that scenes of hand to hand fighting, bayonet fighting, which has to be done. But these are not simple things to be done at those heights at all, and especially when you're nearing utter exhaustion completely. This is the inspiration actually in these actions. Vikram Batra, 23 years of age, somehow depicted a wisdom beyond the years. And somehow, and you've shown it very well in the film yourself, that he was a man. He was a different kind of a personality. The men followed him like a magnet. They just were attached to him. And those initial scenes which you show in Kashmir, in Sopor, actually assist you in understanding why the men loved him. Because he played with danger. He was willing to take risks at all times.
And you feel that's what our attempt was, to depict the most authentic version of what happens in Kashmir or then happened in Kargil war. For someone like you who's seen it so closely, sir, do you feel? I hope that you feel we've done justice to it. And if have these things occurred, like you would befriend people, or would you try and adapt your ways and methods to a city with conflict and with some tactfulness as an Indian Army officer?
You see, conflict is part of our lives. If we've chosen the profession, a conflict is part of our life. But what we have to remember always in this profession is that you don't always use violence to achieve your ends. I think you show it very well in your scene, the entry scene of yours in Sopor, when you come as a young officer, as the young Vikram Batra, and you're seen to be, going around and having a cup of kawa and things like that. These are, people don't understand. These are aspects of a soldier's personality. And these things make a difference when it comes to conflict. All conflicts are not about shooting bullets at each other. I think some of your scenes, half the film actually is in Kashmir, half the film is in Kargil. The scenes which you all have shown of Kashmir Valley are very, very authentic. I have rarely seen, I've lived half my life in Kashmir Valley, let me tell you. But I have not seen such authentic scenes being captured. Simple things like, a very simple example, like not ever revealing a source. This is a promise you have given, and you will never ever reveal it. And I think this stood out so clearly. It stood out in the film that then I realized that you all have really done your research very well.
Oh, lovely. That's so. I mean, it's lovely to hear, sir, because we generally, our intention was to show the most apt and the most real aspect of the Indian Army, whether it's there in '99 or whether when somebody sees it today. And I was just blown away with just a mindset of a soldier. Exactly what you said before, sir, that they have to be so fast and quick in reacting and assessing a situation in the most severe conditions that I feel none of us can over here understand. I mean, of course, you being there and serving us for so long, of course, but none of the civilians can actually comprehend the stress levels that they have to go through. All of you have to go through and make such quick decisions. I feel that's a great source of inspiration when today we become slightly complacent. Either we are a little lazy or tired of a schedule, or we're getting
pressurized. No one could have made out. Sidharth, no one could have made out. One of the things which happens on the line of control very often is the lack of realization that a very small thing can become very, very big in 5 minutes. For example, the discovery of the Mujahideen presence by those shepherds in Kargil, who could have imagined that it will lead to a war in which 527 Indian soldiers will lose their lives?
Absolutely.
So, as a soldier, you also have to have a tremendous amount of imagination, as much imagination as a filmmaker. A filmmaker needs a tremendous imagination. An actor like you needs tremendous imagination. I can lift the fact that you must have really got under the skin of the personality of Captain Vikram Batra, right? Absolutely. And I have seen a lot of war films. We've seen Hakikat. I remember of 1962, LOC, etc. But let me compliment you. You really got under the skin. You really got under the skin. And if I may admit it, I think your smile circumstances, that was very appealing to the people. That's what a lot of people told me.
Yeah. Lovely, sir. Thank you so much. It's so lovely to hear from you. That's why I wanted, all the followers and viewers to get a first-hand experience of what we had tried to portray, and which is done with extreme research from Sandeep Srivastava, writer, Vishnu Vardhana, director, and of course our whole team that came through to depict that. The challenges that it feels, and for me, it became a passion project, sir. It changed many hands. It took longer than a usual film that it takes, about 5 years, and I got so attached to Captain Vikram Batra's family, and B, to really portray his and all the 527 martyrs sacrifice. And we thought we owe it to them because it's 22 years ago. There is a teenage generation who's never experienced it, never heard of it. And thankfully so that they haven't experienced war. And that also, all credit goes to the Indian Army to never let it, or never let any of the other smaller conflicts get so intense that the country is ever in danger. But it was just a
Well, let's
special.
hope one thing, Siddharth, that the quality of your film, which was there ultimately, and your own acting and depiction and research work, I hope this inspires a lot of people in Bollywood to do similar research in future in films of this nature. You see, you can't afford to make mistakes with an organization which is so precise and so exact, such as the Indian Army. It would be a second doing it. That's your big achievement which you have done, you've actually managed to achieve here.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, thank you again. It just gives us a lot of validation that we attempted at giving it a more authentic feel. But again, sir, firsthand when you were serving there, like and the stress that comes in, how I'm sure your family had to deal with a lot of stress. So what's the human side of a soldier? We obviously dived into very little of it with whether it's the family or whether it's with the love story. But I'm sure in a first-hand experience at battlefield, are those thoughts constantly troubling you that you have to go, you have a family, or whether is the emotional stress is something that or the emotional vulnerability that you have a family there, or the oath that the Indian Army takes during the IMA is that you're no longer your family with the nation's first.
That is a combination. That is a combination of all this. But one of the things which I will put at the highest priority is the sense of regimentation. Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, 13 Jammu and Kashmir Rifles was the title of the unit you were depicting here.
Yes, sir.
I belong to a unit which is called 4 Gadwal Rifles, right?
Okay.
I'm a second generation soldier myself. And I can tell you, the feelings that I have for my men, I can never live after a battle if I have let my men down. It is that inspiration which keeps you going. What will the men think of me? I am their leader. The men must think I am God. That's the manner forward, and it inspires.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think most officers, soldiers do not really think of their families at that moment. In their last letters, but they do not think of their families at the moment when they are actually in contact and actually in battle.
Well, I feel that's what makes it so special, sir. And I think we have the best army in the world. And for all these reasons, whether it's tactical reasons, whether it's their training, whether it's discipline, whether it's the emotional bandwidth to lead at any level in any terrain. And for me, it's again been an honor, sir, to depict one such hero, Captain Vikram Batra, and wear his uniform on screen. And I would just like to thank everyone, and thank you, sir, for this lovely chat and give us an insight to what actually happens, and hopefully that the fact that what we've depicted is pretty much close to reality and is for everyone to see and get inspired from. So thank you for your service, sir, firstly, and so thank you for having
Thank you very much.
and having a lovely
May
chat.
I take this opportunity to invite
Yes,
you the next time you are in Delhi? You
yes,
will
sir.
not go away from Delhi without having a meal with me.
अरे yes sir, lovely. मैं तो खुद दिल्ली का हूँ sir. I'm a Delhi boy myself, so I would happily. That's my hometown.
Absolutely. That's what I'm
I
saying. I belong to Delhi myself.
would be
So
lovely
we
to
look
come and
forward
chat
to
with you.
having an evening together and discussing Kargil again.
Yes, absolutely, sir. So thank you so much, sir. Once again, thank you for a lovely chat, and
Thank
thank
you
you for
very much.
everyone for logging
Jai
in and
Hind to
hopefully
you.
getting an insight. Thank you, sir. Jai Hind. Thank you.